Hi. Well, if you're a follower of any of my Twitter accounts or my Facebook account, particularly on Twitter, Wade_85 or Wade85blog, you would know that we recently purchased a 1998 VW Transporter T4 van. It's the short wheelbase variant, and it's done 200,000 kilometres. And we've had it for about a week and a half. I've recently returned from a scuba diving trip down the coast, so I wanted to give you a bit of an update on what we've done so far. The whole van outright cost us $5,000 with a year's registration. So far in the week and a half, we've installed 4 3-watt LEDs that are touch activated, and they're fantastic at night when you're just trying to find some great lights. Just put your hand on the roof, find the lump, and that's your light switch. Now that's all powered by a 100 amp hour AGM or absorbent glass matting battery, deep cycle, which is located within the rear trunk on the right hand side, and it is controlled by a MPPT solar controller, which also has a low voltage load controller, which is one of the reasons that I purchased this particular controller, with some peace of mind that it would turn off any of the load should the battery get too low. So at the moment, the only things that are being powered by this are the 4 lights, 2 at the rear, 2 at the front. There is an additional 12-volt cigarette lighter just below where the camera is located at the moment, which I use to charge my iPad and iPhone. It's even accessible when driving if you just reach back and grab a cable. And there is a 300-watt pure sine wave inverter located in the other compartment, which is used primarily for storage at the moment. I'm using that while I'm doing some work in here just to power a 150-watt halogen lamp, which also provides some additional heating because the van is not insulated, and where I live in Canberra is currently 2 p.m. in the afternoon and it is 5 degrees Celsius. I can only imagine what it would be like at night. This is currently being filmed inside my garage, so it's already cold. I've got my knitted slippers on, thank you Mum. At the moment, there is a 100-watt flexible solar panel, 12-volt panel, glued across the roof, and it fits perfectly with about this much either side, and it's perfectly flexible, so it is actually glued onto the roof, and it doesn't require any sort of additional roof racks or anything like that. It gives a really nice sort of low profile when you're driving down the highway. There's no whistling or no drag or anything like that. I can show you that in a short while. So the way this van is meant to be set up, it's going to be our weekender, my scuba diving truck, things like that. So there is a panel that normally sits against that wall, hooked into the wall. There's a ingenious sort of hinge design that clips into the hinge, and then when you want to use it, you click it out. That piece comes out, slips in the middle here and joins these 2 segments, the short one that I'm sitting on and the long one, and that fills up the middle. Then there's another piece within this compartment here that clicks in and goes forward. That creates an actual decent sized bed, which is actually bigger than a standard double bed. The pieces of foam that we have currently in the other room waiting upholstery is 10 centimetres or 100 mils thick of bedding foam, and 2 segments of 60 mil wide, so 2 60 mil wide segments, and they are 1880 long, so that actually gives a nice decent sleeping space, and they will form a back cushion and a seat cushion. At the moment on the short compartment I'm using mostly for tool storage, and it has a fold up table and a butane gas cooker. We haven't really used it at the moment, and it's just got outdoor furniture cushions on at the moment, which is perfectly fine. As I said, I took this away scuba diving on the weekend, and all my gear perfectly fit within the van. There was a great place with these curtain wires that I've put in, one along the rear and one separating the cabin from the rear, and they were great to hang towels up and dry, etc. There's a sliding door on this side, which in Australia is the passenger side, and that will give some great access. My only concern at the moment is there's a lot of wasted space. So from the hinge component back, which is a good, say, 10 centimetres wide, getting up to sort of almost 20 at the front. Behind that, to the side wall, is completely empty. I've just got some wires running along the side there, completely wasted space. Same on this side as well. Can look at incorporating some water storage or something like that, because at the moment there's actually no kitchen type facilities, and I don't really want to incorporate too much, but there's a UK YouTuber, I think he's Van Life, or the VW Van Life, and he has a really nice little small kitchen unit that he's built directly where the camera is located now, with a 12 volt water pump that just pumps water up into a sink, and directly over the sink you can put the butane burner. That's pretty much what I'll be going for as well. Something really small, really occasional. I'm not looking to turn out 5-course meals. It's just something quick when we're out and about exploring or diving or things like that. And I have to say, getting out of 18 degrees Celsius water yesterday when the wind came up, you wanted to get back in that water pretty quick. So one of the better things, as this is a 2-door rear opening van rather than a single gas lift, it actually means you can get in here in between and there's no wind. And I had a little jet boil here and had a nice coffee and was able to pass that around with my dive buddies, and that was much appreciated, I can assure you. What we're slowly doing at the moment is pulling these pine sides off. This has just got blue material on it at the moment from the previous owner. We'll be taking that off and upholstering it. This, switch over, this is the colour we'll be putting in. We've upholstered one so far, and it's quite easy. You just take off the masonite or compressed board that is the panels, spray contact adhesive on, sit it on the material, cut it out, glue the back. Easy. And then choose a Stanley knife or a craft knife to cut the holes to put the retention clips in, and they're available for $12 Australian from the UK in a packet of 100, and they're fantastic. So I might switch camera positions and give you a bit of a look at the 12 volt wiring that's currently contained in here, and then I'll also give you a bit of a look at the solar panel that's on the roof. The other minor modification I've made, which I'm pretty proud of myself, my first bit of installation before I put the solar system in, there's a wireless reversing camera that's built into this panel here, that it hangs over the number plate. That allows me, because it's a much longer vehicle and there's reduced visibility with the high windows, obviously nothing lower, I can't actually see into some spots I'm reversing. And as soon as I put the gear selector into reverse, it's split off the rear reverse lights. So as soon as they are activated, the wire is powered and then the camera broadcasts to the cab. Some little things to figure out at the moment. As soon as I turn on the actual vehicle lights, driving lights, that no longer allows the camera to work, so we're just working out some kinks at the moment. So as I said, I'll switch camera positions and then I'll also give you a look at the roof, otherwise this will go on for hours. Okay, so this is in that rear compartment that I was talking about before. When I purchased the van, I discovered this Anderson plug that actually runs underneath the vehicle all the way back to the starter battery. I've purposely kept that completely isolated and not connected so that all my playing hasn't affected anything. I've got a 100 amp hour AGM battery installed there. It's mounted to the floor, so there's no moving. Pop that back on. That lid's just on for safety precautions, and I run 2 bus bars very crudely at the moment to allow me to wire things off. As I said, it's very spaghetti at the moment, just getting things working. This is a PowerTech 30 amp 12 volt or 24 volt MPPT solar controller, and as I mentioned before, it does have the load cutoff, which I find very, very, very helpful. There is a 300 watt inverter in the next storage compartment in here, which if I open up it'll be an absolute mess. You can see the inverter in the back there with a little stationary light that I can just clip around and use that, and then there's just some tools, etc. So in the future, yes, I could get a voltage sensing relay, connect this up, and that way when the vehicle's running, the 12 volt battery is being charged, but I just haven't had the need. The lowest I've run that big battery is 12.5 volts, which a day out in the sun put that straight back up to top voltage. At the moment, just with all 4 lights on, we're drawing 0.6 of an amp, which the solar controller is telling me. Going through the options, tells me I'm currently sitting at 12.8 volts. So still, you know, we've taken a bit out of the battery, but there's still a decent swing in that. And as you would expect, since we're parked in my garage, I'm adding to the battery 0.0 amps. I might flick everything off and I'll give you a bit of a look from the roof. As I said, there is a 100 watt flexible solar panel mounted to the roof with the wires going back down into the rear right hand wall and runs down to the solar controller. Yep, there's some lovely great big rust spots on the top of the roof, which we're slowly getting those repaired, but the solar panel is glued down on all 4 sides, and it's actually mounted behind one of these ridges to give it a bit more of a low wind profile when travelling along the highway. It is glued and sealed down, and it was waterproof to begin with, so that is always a bonus. I might leave it there. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below in the comments section, and please subscribe to get updates of how we're going. I'll be posting on all the normal social media channels using the hashtag vanlife, just like everybody else who's interested in these type of projects. Thank you. And just before I finish, I wanted to say a big thank you to my mum, who, as I said, the temperature has been really, really cold here in Canberra at the moment where I'm doing a lot of the work, and it's in my garage. So thanks for my knitted slippers, which you saw featured in the tour of the van. So yeah, again, if you liked anything you've seen today or have any suggestions, please subscribe and comment down below in the comment segment.